Should we get going?
Well, it's a red light.
Oh,
Your instinct is to ignore when you see employees performing differently than they once did, and you kind of want to ignore it and not ask any questions.
well, the reason employers have that impulse not to ask any questions. The impulse of employers is often to say, hear no evil, see no evil. If I see an employee engaging in behaviors that are inconsistent with past behaviors and it's resulting in poor performance, and I'm now contemplating termination, I don't want to know what may be causing those behaviors, because if it's a mental health issue, it's a disability under human rights legislation, which triggers the employer obligation to accommodate up to undue hardship. So the employer has the perception that if I don't ask anything, then I avoid having any knowledge and I can proceed with the termination, for example, and it won't be considered discriminatory. But that's not accurate. The employer has a positive obligation to ask questions, to inquire as to why those behaviors are occurring. So typically, what an employer needs to do is sit down with the employee and say something like, hey, I've noticed that your behaviors of late are inconsistent with past behaviors. It's affecting your performance. Is there anything we should know about? And that opens the door for the employee to say something. But if the employee elects not to say anything, then, for all intents and purposes, the employer's obligation doesn't go beyond that, and the employer's done what it needs to do. Okay. How often do you start a story with once upon a time?